Welcome back to, I almost said American Idol. I'm sorry. Okay, take Welcome back to MormonGuitar.com. This month's song was If You Could Hide to Kolob, which was chosen by my wife, Annie, because she hates me. And she wanted to make my life not too pleasant this last month. Don't get me wrong, I love this song. It's always been one of my favorite hymns. But man, has it been hard to just like encapsulate what that song is. And you know when I do these arrangements, I don't ever want to be like gimmicky. Like I'm going to do a bluegrass version of this song just to do a bluegrass version. But I would do that if it was like appropriate, if it was somehow like encompass that whole song. So with this one, it was a bit of a challenge trying to find something a little different that has been done, that hasn't necessarily been done on guitar, at least that I've heard. But once I've found it, then it was also, now I had to arrange it, and it was near the end of the month, and then I had to learn it, and then memorize it, and then play it all in one take on camera, which is why it probably sucks in some parts, but I don't have any more time to try and perfect it. We'll perfect it like when we do some audio recording of it. So let me take you through the structure of the song, and then we're going to learn how to play it. And I think with this one, I'm going to go a little more in depth into how to actually play the song, because there's some tricky kind of technical stuff going on if you aren't too familiar with some parts of the guitar and parts of playing it. So, structure of the song. So it starts off, this is If You Could Hide a Kolob. How can you do If You Could Hide a Kolob, which is essentially about deep space, without doing some sort of time travel or star, warp travel, whatever thingy. So that's what the little, those harmonics there. It's kind of like the stars, the space, whatever going by. And so the idea of it is that you're kind of, you're highing. That's what you're doing. You're starting off the song highing, and you're highing all the way to Kolob. And so when you finally get to Kolob, that's when it kind of slows down, and it pauses, and then So then I wanted it to it's deep space where it's all big and vast and open, but it's also like huge and all this stuff going on, and you're talking about, the thing I love about astronomy is that you can actually look back in time by looking further out into space. So if you're looking at something that's like 1,000,000 light years away, then that's what it looked like. That's what happened 1,000,000 years ago. So I wanted to kind of, capture that awe, that be awestruck, kind of. I love deep space and all that crap, and now I'm just rambling. But anyways, what I was shooting for was majestic reverence. So you get there, and it's like all of a sudden you're highing, and then you get there, and then that's kind of the. I don't know if I captured that or not, but that's what I was shooting for. And then, because that happens right at the beginning of the song, and lyrically, and then, it talks about, and then you say goodbye to Kolob and take off and keep going to where, worlds are being created. And so then it kind of travels off from there, and then it kind of ends with, that whole, kind of creation thing where, you got stuff going on, and I kind of envision it as, almost like the creation of the earth, where it's, here is matter unorganized, and so it was kind of going into matter unorganized, and then boom, and then it all comes together, with the big, kind of a big, a big, we did it, a big, it's created just a big awestruck. It is late, if you couldn't tell, and I'm tired, and I ramble when I'm tired. So I apologize for all this, and I'm so tired that I'm not even going to edit this out probably, because I'll be too tired to do that. So anyways, that's the structure of the song. So let's get into how to play this song. Now what I'm going to do with this lesson versus the other ones, and maybe I'll start doing this more, is that while I'm doing it's kind of slowed down, I'll talk through it. I'll talk you through it and tell you exactly what's going on. But to kind of start off, the first thing is the harmonics. So learning how to do a harmonic, which is on a guitar, it's actually really easy to do. Sounds cool, but really easy to do. So basically, the first one that we do is a harmonic right there on the B string on the 5th fret, okay? Now all you have to do is you just put your finger over top the 5th fret and you pluck it. Except you don't push on that 5th fret or on that string. You just hold it there, and after you pluck it, you kind of let go. You can even leave it there. It just won't ring as long, but you can hear it. Alright? That's all it is. Same thing with on the G string on the 5th fret. And then we do them on the 7th fret. I mean, they're all over the guitar, you know? I mean, what a harmonic is it's basically, you know, when you pluck a string without pushing it down, you got the string that's, you know, vibrating all like that, and then, you know, you do a harmonic, like, let's say on the 12th fret, which is exactly halfway between the beginning of the string and the end of the string, and all it's doing now is that center right there is holding still, and the sides are like moving like that. You like that? I don't know what I'm doing. But that's the physics behind it. And then, you know, when you do it on the 7th fret, it cuts it in 3s, and so it's higher, and same thing on the 5th fret, because now it cuts it in 4s, and so it's now 4 instead of, you know, if you did it on 12, it'd be 2. So that's why it's an exact octave above, or 2 octaves above the open. Science. Let's see. So there's that, and then at the end, when we do that kind of, you know, making it as big as we can and kind of doing that orchestral march, you know, I mean, kind of envision, like, you know, the whole string orchestra, especially the cellos and stuff, you know, really digging into that. And so there's 2 things that we need to learn about that. One is that you need to palm mute it. Now, a palm mute means that when you're strumming, you're going to take this part of your hand and you're going to place it on the string all the way down at the saddle where it connects. And, you know, just kind of place it right there. So instead of getting, you know, now we throw that palm into it, and it doesn't sustain, but it gives us enough of that, you know, staccato kind of thump thing, all right? And then the picking pattern for the end. So, you know, it kind of does it's got the triplets thrown in there. And so the picking pattern that we're doing on that is going to go like this. Let's see if you can see that. Can you see that? Okay. It's going to go. It doesn't, well, I'll tell you what it doesn't do. It doesn't do what a lot of beginning guitar players want to do, which is all downstroke. It doesn't do that, so it doesn't go. Because can you hear that? It's just lagging a little bit. You'd have to get to be really good at that to do it all downstroke without sounding like you're dragging it all. So what you do is, and it's also not a straight down, up, down, up, down, up, which you kind of usually have when you're strumming. But in this pattern, it goes down, down, up, down, down. All right? Down, down, up, down, down. So when it's fast, it's... Okay, we want that upstroke just to kind of give us that middle triplet there. So... Slow down. Again. Alright. I think that's about it, like from the technical aspect of playing this song. So let's go ahead and dive into playing it slow. and you can follow along there, and also follow along with the sheet music, the tab music, or the mode tabs. Morning guitar. Oh boy, don't film these so late at night. Yeah, that's it. So see you again next month, and keep practicing, and we'll be back with another hymn or primary song, whatever my kids choose. And that's it. Here's the lesson. I'm too tired to even edit this out. Okay, so we're starting on the E minor with that add 9 to start off the intro. Now we hit that first harmonic on the B string on the 5th fret. Remember, just tap it and it should ring out. Now on the G string on the 5th fret, same thing on the B string, except now on the 7th fret. Now we're doing it again, except we're hitting 2 this time. So hit those better than I did. That's a little better. All 3, which is the G, B, and E string, just ring it through. Oops. Stop it with use your palm on your right hand and kind of slide it in to stop that. There it goes. There we go. Get that hammer on really good. Now when we get to this point, we're taking that E minor, we're going to slide it up that ring finger. Because now that puts us right in the back of the same position as the intro of that E minor add 9. It's just the same thing again. Except instead of rolling it, we're just going to hit them all. Okay, now we go into the second verse. So let's go over that again. So that's Start with your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string, so we're starting on that G. And then we're pulling off to the 2nd fret, which is an F sharp. And then we just pull off from there. Okay, one more time. Alright, okay, so let's move on. This is just, it's a D that, with your pinky playing that high A on the high E string, and then bring your thumb over to play that F sharp bass. Now we're going to slide it up. It's the exact same chord, except now we're just playing it with an open low E, and we've slid it up 2 frets. Bass. Same thing, except now we're going to slide up and we're going to play. Except we're going to play with a low E. So you're going to bar your first finger across that the D, G, B, and E strings, with your pinky playing the high B on the E string on the 7th fret. And now we're going back to that A minor. Here's how we do that little outro thing from that 2nd verse. We go, it's just on an E minor, and then once we get to that, that's the E on the D string, we're going to slide it up. Okay, slide it up to that F sharp. Alright, and then once we get there, you know, the rest of the chords on the E minor are just the open G, B, and E. And while we're doing that, we're pulling our hand all the way up to the 12th fret on that high E string so we can hit that harmonic. So one more time. Whoops. Okay, last time. Time to stretch your fingers. Got that chord? Whoops. There we go. To a B minor. And then you're just going to lift up your first finger so that high E rings through underneath. Put it back down. Same chord, that D with that high A that you're playing with your pinky with that F sharp bass. So this time when we slide up, we're sliding up to that same minor chord that we were playing earlier, except now we're going to play with an A bass. to an E major. That's where the key change happens. Make it a 7. Pick up your pick. We're going into the march. Remember to palm mute this. Okay, now when we're doing this, you know, we still don't want to forget about the melody, so we want to play through all the strings all the way up to the melody string, which in this case is on the B string. So we're playing that C up there. Remember, it's down, down, up, down, down. Down, down, up, down, down. And we're playing that F bass now, so start from the beginning of that march again. Wait. Yeah. Sorry, we're going to an F there, not just that F bass. Okay, so scratch that. Start at the beginning of the march again. To an F. This is why I like to play my Fs like this instead of like this, because it allows me to lift up on that middle finger, let that G ring through. Going all the way through to that melody note each time. Okay, now we're stopping with the triplets and we're just going to straight eighth notes to build it up. So we're going to palm mute these first 8 notes. Kind of crescendo. Then we're getting into the C. Now we're going to slow down a little bit, so we'll have a retardando on these. It's just a G with playing all the way open, just with the bottom. The G and the B there, so that's just like the bottom half of a G chord. We're going to an F chord, except just like we were playing like this, let all that ring out. So that's your thumb on the F, which is on the low E string, your ring finger on the D string, and which is the octave of the F, and then we're going to, with the first finger, high B and high E string on the first fret. Alright? And then the open chord is, that's just a C with that G added at the top with your pinky. I'm playing with the low E for the bass. That's what gives it the oomph, the extra gusto. Alright, so try that again. Done with the palm muting. Okay, so start of that measure again. That's how you play that melody there. Remember, we're going through to the melody note each time. One more time. Okay, now at this point I like to just drop the pick. Because what else are you going to do with it? You're done for the song. I'm going to go real quiet here, real good pianissimo. Okay, now this is a nice flavorful chord to come up. Ring finger is on the D string, up on the 7th fret, so you can play that A up there. Okay, and now we got the first finger on the 5th fret of the G string. Alright, so we can play that C. And then we ring through on that B and that E. And we're going to kind of do this little picking pattern. Alright. It's a pretty standard picking pattern, but because of the way the notes are voiced, it kind of makes it sound, you know, some are higher than or lower than you might expect, so it's a little, you kind of have to detach your ears from the picking pattern to not confuse yourself. And then the last note is just an open G, which allows you to transition down. Okay, do that one more time. You can either ring it or you can just hit it all at once. Okay, now the last part. This is mostly all harmonics, because you know that's how we started it. This is how we're going to end it. Okay, so it's the harmonic on the G string on the 7th fret. Remember, just pluck it and kind of let it go right afterwards, let it ring. Okay, so we do that one. Now we come up to the 12th fret on the high E string. Hit it again. And then back to the 5th fret, or the 7th fret. I don't know if I did 7 or 5th earlier, I meant 7. Back to the same one. Okay, let's try that again. Except this time without a mistake. One more time. Okay, now the next one is we're playing this C here, but it doesn't have a harmonic that at least rings through really nice and clear right here. So we're just going to play it. That's the trick, is we just play it, but we play it kind of lightly so you almost don't even notice. Alright, so. And then the last one is on the D string on the 7th fret. And then the final one is on the 7th fret, and it's the D and the A string at the same time. Alright, last time on that. Whoops. Do it one more time. Good job.